Indiana.
Yes, we're still here.
We're still here. Packed up, ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Ready to go. So we thought we would come in and talk to you a little bit this morning, and we got some fun little stuff to show you, and just kind of check in since we are like physically together, and I don't have to be in the little tiny thing in the screen, and Andrew doesn't have to be in the little tiny thing in the screen, so we're together. So I know it looks like I have a halo, so I'm gonna just like push this little curtain over.
Yeah.
I really don't have a halo, right? You know me too well. Okay. She really doesn't have a halo. Hey! She's talking about me. Oh, I still have a halo.
There you go.
There.
Better.
Okay.
Go with it.
Go with it. Okay. So we thought we'd do some creative stuff first. So Andrea brought some really cool tools, but I just want to elaborate. I still have a halo on my face.
You look fine.
I look fine?
You look fine.
I'm just worried about that, you know. She's younger and cuter, so.
Oh, stop it.
Okay, anyway, none of that. All right, so, you know, I called it wasabi tape, and it's and Edie's gonna crack up because Soul Care, she said it's actually washi tape, W-A-S-H-I, washi. But you know what? I'm gonna call it wasabi tape.
I like it wasabi tape.
So I'm gonna just call it wasabi tape.
I think you should call it wasabi tape.
Wasabi tape.
Okay,
so
it is.
I found some. Well, Andrea, actually, we shared this week. We're so funny. We think alike. So I brought her some wasabi tape.
Yeah, and then I brought you some.
She brought me some washi tape.
Yeah.
Because that's what she calls it. And anyway, so here, this is what it kind of looks like. There's all these little things you've seen. If you haven't, it's just little cute little tapes. Like this one has some kind of little arrow things. Here's some stars. And all you do is you just rip this puppy off.
Mm-hmm. You can just rip it with your hand. You don't need...
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fingers. Yeah, you don't
I
even
just
need...
think I have to do it with scissors.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Okay. It
rips
doesn't have to
super
be
easy.
perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but what's nice is if you're putting on the edge of the paper, you just fold it over the other side of the paper.
How come you're so smart?
Yeah.
So anyway, get some wasabi tape. Now I'll tell you.
But don't go into a store and ask them if they have wasabi tape.
Yeah,
they will not know what you're talking about.
They will
That's
think.
for sure.
Here, I'll put some on one of my little permission thing. And okay, I'm gonna be brave. I'm just gonna tear it. I'm gonna tear it. Okay, here I'm gonna tear it. Here's my strip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick it down here on the edge.
Yeah.
And I am gonna do what she
over
says
there.
and flip
There
it
you
on the
go.
other side.
Yeah.
But then that'll make the other side look just fine.
No, because then you'll do the other side.
Because I'll do the other side. Okay, so see,
Okay.
look, you can just decorate a little bit there.
Looks cute.
Yeah. So anyway, you can get it like everywhere. Hobby Lobby, Target. I know
Amazon even.
Amazon, yeah. And you got one in a whole little roll, right?
Yeah, right.
That came.
Right.
But I think Michael's has them too, and they have them in their front thing. Like you get 3 for $1, or something like that too. So don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. So
definitely not.
okay, when you get on here, wave. Okay, Carrie Tweedy is watching.
Hi, Carrie.
Good to see you, Carrie. All right, so that's the wasabi
Well, here's the thing.
tape.
I was just thinking. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What time is it at home? It's early.
Yeah, no, it's not that early. It's 9:38.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's early.
It's 9:30. It's 9:38 in the morning. There.
Okay.
Okay.
Just want to make
So
sure.
do you want to do this, or do you want to do that?
sure.
Okay. So we'll do this fun stuff first. I'm going to be her Vanna. Okay.
Hi, Gayla.
Hi, Gayla. So I'm going to be her Vanna as she shares about this new little thing. It's in this bag here, okay, and she's gonna show you. Okay.
All right, so basically what we have is they are called gelato pens is what they're called, but they're actually really like crayons. It's almost like a really kind of reminds you in between, like it's really, really waxy. So it's more of a softer crayon. So they look like this.
What's the brand?
This brand is Faber-Castell, Fabercastell, and most of them are that brand. But
you can get them anywhere.
You can get them. I got them on Amazon, but I'm sure all of the different craft places have them. And then you have little tools that you can get that come with them. And so this one is like a spreader to make different designs.
Can I take that on the plane with me?
You know what? I put mine in my bag because I just didn't want them to take it from me.
Well,
so.
I was just thinking about that today. Like,
Yeah.
can I use
I
this?
hid mine.
Terrace?
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm going to try because I'm not checking anything. So we'll stay tuned on Wednesday when we
We'll
come
see if
back
she
on.
still has it.
I'll see if I still have it.
Okay.
Hopefully it will.
So anyway, they have different little things. A little blotter, and then you have a bigger one right here. So inside there's directions that tell you. It comes with different little water bottles.
Oh,
and,
yeah, I have that here.
It has different things that it could tell you.
Sorry,
it
I'm
tells
slipping
you.
on the job.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Little droppers for water, and then little sponges. And so when you get these, it actually has it has directions in there. We'll show you all the different forms that you could do with this. And I'll tell you what
not a
what
makeup
you need
sponge.
to. No, it's not.
Not makeup.
No, not for makeup.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm just.
She's gonna do a little dealy bobber here.
All right. So let's see. I am going to just make some flowers. I think. So let's do this.
Make sure it's pretty. That's my book.
Yeah, I will.
No, I'm just kidding. She'll make it pretty. But see how
Let's
fun that
see.
is? It's just another way. I think I'm going to call these adult crayons. That's what I'm going to call them.
Yeah, right. So basically, I just drew something,
See
just
that?
like that.
Okay.
And then now I'm going to take...
Anybody can do that. Look,
Yeah.
you don't have to be an artist. Look, it's really like sticks with color.
Hi, Jan.
Hi, Jan.
I miss you.
I don't know you, but I miss you.
All right, let me see.
Okay.
I'm going to use...
Here,
this
I'll be your
one.
assistant.
Okay.
So just go.
I'm gonna
Scalpel.
Okay, I need the big one. The big... I don't know which
Big blotter.
All right, so...
So now she is doing, you can see that a little bit. Here, why don't you hold it up like that? Can you see what she's doing? She's just like smearing it. It's like, remember kindergarten, finger paint, smearing. We can do this.
And then if you look at it, I go, okay, this is a little, I think I need a little more. Or maybe I'll just get another color. Do you have yellow?
Yeah,
you
I
do.
have
Okay,
yellow.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So
I need to
let's
use
do-
that on my face. My blush is not totally
So I'm
together.
just going to add a little accent like this.
Again,
And
don't
can I
use
have
it
the
on-
little one, the little
She's
blotter?
ignoring me.
I'm
know.
sorry.
Should use that on my blush to fix my blush. There. Okay, thanks.
The little blotter.
The little blotter. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So I have this one. I'm just going to
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah. Just to add maybe a little.
See, she's my friend in Soul Karen. Look at this.
and
So pretty.
then- That was yellow you put on.
That was yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
you
I asked.
can make it bigger or smaller by how, it's kind of like it's almost like it's an oily crayon almost. So like
Okay.
it continues on, so you just think it goes to here, but like if you push it out a little, like you can make it go as big as,
Okay.
as you want.
And
then
you
if I
don't
can
have
a-
to.
one of the little brushes, that little brush.
Yeah, you don't have to wash this out. That's what I was asking her. You could just keep doing it
Yeah,
over. I suppose at one point you could.
right.
And then she's gonna use a brush.
Okay, and
thank you, ma'am.
then I'm going to show them how to, let's do a sky. So
Okay.
can I have the chisel-y thing? All right,
Chisel.
yeah,
Check.
chisel. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take just a little, I'm going to just take a little piece off here, and just be careful, like if you have obviously clothes on or whatnot.
Clothes
You
on.
know.
You mean clothes? No, they're gonna do this naked.
If you have clothes on, so
When you
forget
have
it.
clothes, when you have
When?
clothes on, if you don't want to get a blue or red or pink
Right,
on your clothes.
Right.
That
So
was-
basically,
that
you're just
was
gonna
funny.
put it on here. It's so funny how one word could change everything, right? If and when.
If and when.
If you happen to have
It's
clothes
been a
on.
long weekend, but
Oh
it's been
my
fun. But
gosh.
we're on this 3-hour time change, and I
Yeah.
tell you, it's like we get up at 3 in the morning and go to bed
Right,
at 10
yeah,
or
it's-
whatever.
yeah.
So
Our internal clock
Yeah.
is a little.
off. Okay.
All right, so you're just taking off like little pieces, and then I'm going to show you what you're going to do with them once you. All right, here you go.
Okay.
So basically, you've just kind of like taken little pieces, chunks off, if you can see. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take the end of it. I just put my finger like on the tip of it like this. And then you're going to just kind of push down kind of hard. And then you're just going to like twist it and like smear it. So
again, back to the kindergarten.
you
Finger
can take your
painting.
thumb on the end of it, you know, like this.
But see, now this is adult crafts, because in kindergarten they wouldn't have given those little things to
No,
kindergartners,
definitely
right?
not.
I mean, I don't think I have 2 kindergartners. I'm not sure I'd give that to them.
Definitely not. So as you spread it, you know, it
It
just
looks like little clouds.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was
She's
trying to
making
go for.
clouds.
So you just, you know, kind of there's no rhyme or reason, like it just, you know, how wherever it goes, however it.
Yeah, again,
You know?
the idea is, remember the permissions list that we
Right.
made? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
Right? Like, this is just creativity, and hey, that looks really good. I love it.
Anyway, just
Good idea.
something like that.
There. See how
So it
cool
kind of
that is?
smears.
Yeah, that's neat. So those are fun little things, and then I'll probably, you know, get my pens later and some of my watercolor pens and just write a verse on it or something, or
Right.
for or today perspective. Maybe that's what I'll write, because that's what we're learning about this week.
Your
Is
perspectives.
my perspectacles. That's right. We're doing the discovering our peace this week as in our Soul Crow Journal. So we thought we would just take a few minutes and share. We've been at, for those of you that don't know, we've been at the Women of Joy conference. We're here with the Redemption Press, who is our publisher for the Live Bold Journal, and we've been assisting and helping and talking with women and, you know, signing books, and it's just been really a great weekend.
Yeah.
There was amazing speakers and wonderful worship, and Mandisa, which Andrea already posted the video for that. But I just thought, you know, since we're talking about perspective, and Edie was talking about sometimes when we change our perspective and we try to see it God's way, that, you know, we have more peace then. We can relax, because when we just look at it through our narrow
Right.
human lens, we don't always see it.
Right.
So Lisa Turkhurst, Saturday morning, she was the speaker, and she shared very vulnerable. If you follow her blog, you'll know that she's been through a lot the last few years. She shared from the platform how, you know, the redemption of her own marriage, and how God has healed her marriage, and different in the process of healing, and different things that have happened. And she used the story of Joseph, which is a great story in the book of Genesis. And her key point was that when we think things look really dark, like in Joseph's life, you know, he was thrown into prison for no good he was thrown in the pit. His brothers sold him, and then he was thrown into prison for no good reason. He was just doing his job as extraordinary, and from his perspective, things looked pretty bleak
Right.
and dark. But from God's perspective, God had a bigger purpose and a plan.
Right.
And she used the phrase that there's always a meanwhile. There's always a meanwhile, like when things are dark or things are hard, or we don't understand what God's doing, that's when we're kind of waiting in the meanwhile. And that's looking at it for God's perspective. If we can kind of grab a hold of that. And for me personally, she did the verse that said that Joseph says to his brothers after, you know, he becomes the right-hand man from Pharaoh. They come and get food because there's a famine in the land, and Joseph recognizes his brothers, but they don't recognize him. And he says to them, once they're reunited, he says in Genesis 50:20, he says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many." So she spoke out of that. That's really God's perspective, is when things that we think are intended to harm us, or people or circumstances, that God intends it for good. And I kind of broke it down. I'll show you here. Here's my little.
I think I knock at the door. Do you? Okay.
I put my. I kind of looked up the verses as I was listening to her, and it says, "You intended to harm me." That word harm actually means you intended to have evil against me, misery, distress, or injury. But God intended it for good. And that word good means good things, happiness, for kindness, for my welfare. And then God intended, so that word intended, so I was thinking, what's that word intended means? But God intended that, it says, to weave, to respect, to value, to esteem, hold in high regard, to assume, to reckon, to invent. So I was thinking through that, but God weaves it for my good. he values it. He holds it in high regard, even though it's a hard thing I'm going through, that God intends it for my welfare.
Right.
And then he brought me in this role, this brokenness, whatever we're walking through, this weariness, to save the lives of many, so we can help others live well, be prosperous, flourish, continue safe and sound, to live again, revive and recover, be healed, refreshed, and restored to life. And I thought, wow, that is really awesome when you think of it that way. Can I get some hearts for that, or some?
Hi, Mom.
Hi,
Sherry.
Auntie.
Hi, Steph.
Good to see you all. But anyway, it just, again, we've heard that saying, God loves us too much to answer my prayers in the way I want.
I love that.
Yeah, so, and that's what she was talking about. So, when we're looking for the exit to get out because it's painful, we want things, but
Right.
God is saying, just wait. In the meanwhile, we can't see the bigger picture. It's not our perspective. And so when we're weary, again, we lose perspective. We're tired. Things that may not have bothered us before really impact us in a greater
Right.
way. We're more sensitive. And I
Right.
know for both Andrea and I, our emotions and our tears were about right here all weekend. And I just kind of packaged them up in a little box because I can't go here right now until I had a chance to actually process and have some perspective. Hi, Paige. Good to see you. Anyway, so that's just kind of a little thing that, really spoke to me this weekend, is just to remember, again, in the meanwhile, just to wait, that God has a perspective that I can't see, and that he really wants me to flourish, and he
Right.
wants me to help other people flourish in the role that he's going to give me to help others as I go through it. So anyway, that's my little, and then I kind of drew a bunch of little stuff there, if you can see. I didn't use any of my adult crayons because I just used my pens, but I'll probably go back and do that. And then there was some other things, but Andrea, why don't you share?
Yeah, what I loved, I just wrote down some things as you. I loved how Lisa said, our job is to be obedient, but God's job is to see everything else. So you guys know, in a lot of my blogs and a lot of the things I talk about and share personally, is that God's job is to judge, the Holy Spirit's job is to convict, and our job is to love.
Right.
And so I love that about what she's saying, is that we just need to trust and be obedient, even how silly it looks, even how ridiculous it sounds. And God's job is everything else. That means everything
else,
everything, so that we don't have to worry about it. And what I loved is when she said, God is developing our character to match our calling. And that even means developing our character can be feeling joy, and it can also mean feeling pain. And that in itself is developing our character. So what we see as a rejection, God sees as a protection.
Of our calling.
Yes.
Is that what she said?
And what we see as a problem, God sees as a promotion. So like Joseph, he's looking at it going, man, I'm thrown into, jail, all these things happen. But what God was doing is he was placing him in a position to eventually, years later, be the second highest person in command of the nation that they lived in, right? So he didn't see that sitting in a jail cell.
No, of course not.
So what was meant to hurt us is God is actually using it as something that we need to develop our character, to take us to the next step that he has for us. And I loved that. So she says, rejection is protection, the problem is promotion, but the reality is our activity. It's what we actually do with it. And what we see as a reality, God uses as activity. For me, the same thing, Genesis 50:20, what was used to hurt us, God used to promote us. And for me, it was a really tough weekend for me. You guys, when you've been hurt and, things have gone on in your life, and you think, years ago even, and you think, okay, I'm totally past that. I'm good. I've dealt with it. I'm in celebrity recovery. I still go to counseling once a week. I'm doing all the things that, I can do to fix it. And for me, it was just hearing Lisa talk. It just somebody explained it to me like this. When you somebody who, I don't know, goldsmith, I guess that's what you call them.
Or silver.
So they melt the gold, and they have to keep stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring the gold for the impurities to come up to the top. And when the impurities come up to the top, they skim it off, and then it gets heated up and heated up and heated up. And the only way those impurities come to the top is when the gold starts bubbling, gets this certain temperature, and comes to the top. So you keep skimming it and skimming it and skimming it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I thought I skimmed it. I thought everything was skimmed off the top. And so when this weekend, my heart, it was just bubbling, 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 and all these things just came up to the top, and I'm sitting there like, where did this come from? Like, why is this affecting? I mean, you guys, it affected me. I mean, from the morning through, I mean, today is probably the first day I really feel okay, and this was Friday, right? Yeah. And so, you know, I just have to tell you, you know, Cindy and I came back here that night, and I'm like, I just don't get it. What is in me? Why it affected me so much? You know, hearing, you know, Lisa talking about, you know, what she and her husband had gone through, which is similar to mine. And, you know, she just read an update of, you know, where she and her husband are now. And then hearing Mandisa, you know, some of the things she said, it just broke me. It just completely broke me. And what I really got out of this weekend was when we came back to the hotel room and you just said, like, Andrew, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to feel, and don't be so concerned with trying to figure out why it is that you feel this way, and just embrace what you feel and give it to God. Like, God, what are you trying to teach me? What is still broken in me that I still need to fix? That clearly it has just shook me to my core. And thank you for that, because I didn't see that. I think I'm the kind of person, I have to have an answer for everything. It all needs to make sense, right? Yeah. And she just said to me, you know, Andrews, there's just some things that are not going to make sense. And that there's still something in you that, you know, that still is broken, and it still needs to be healed. And I think for myself, I get so busy at staying busy and being there for everybody else that, you know, you really don't take the time to heal. Like, you really don't. You're going through the motions of, okay, I'm in Celebrate Recovery. My husband and I still go to counseling. But and I think that's surface-wise, that's great. But like I said, when is the last time I just sat and got quiet with God? No journals, no Bible, just sat and allowed God to just fill my heart, or just cry out to him and tell him what's on my heart. I think so often we just want to feel it and fix it.
That's right.
Well, we're good at that.
And the reason I can share that with Andrea, because I struggle with that so much myself, is that I know I'm a deep feeler, and I have trouble. I want to know an answer to why I'm feeling a certain way. And so I try to fix it. And so I've really tried to work hard at giving myself permission to not be able to explain the triggers or the emotions, and just to kind of just breathe. You know, like, I fell down the stairs this last week, and I have a really bad shoulder, and my husband said to me, because I guess I wasn't breathing, and he kept saying, because I was hurting so bad, I didn't want to re-injure what's already injured here. And he just kept saying to me, just breathe, breathe. And I realized in the pain, I wasn't breathing. And it's the same when we're weary or we're having trouble and we're struggling and we get those triggers, is that we have to remember to give ourselves permission to breathe, and that it's okay, and we don't have to understand everything. And that's the hardest thing. But so I hope that blesses you, that, you know, encouragement to you, perspective. And just again, as we lean in this week with what Edie's asking us to do, she's asking us to step away and look at things differently. Go sit, you know, in your kitchen, or go outside, like she says, and look at something from a God's, you know, a different perspective. Just observe it, and write it down, what God says to you, and see how that helps you to see the bigger picture possibly. So we'll still come back on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely.
Wednesday morning, and we'll check in with you, and we'll be posting some of our shoulds and coulds and perspectives and all of that when I get back home, and Andrea will too. But so anyway, we hope you have a great Monday as you start your week, and take care of yourself. Give yourself permission to breathe. Give yourself permission to feel those emotions in your weariness, and that's how we can have peace, because we just give it to God. We say, God, here it all is. I don't know. I can't fix it. I can't understand it. I have my wasabi tape. Help me to decorate it. You know, whatever. I'm just sorry. I just had to make a joke. But anyway, so we love you, and we're so glad you're a part of this community, and we hope that you have a great.
And if
great
you
week.
love this group, tell your friends.
Yeah, and it's
Tell
not
your
too
friends
late to come into the group and
No,
get
not
it
at
and
all.
get the book, right?
Yep, I have a few friends that I ordered it for. They were gone this weekend, and I ordered it for them. I have them at home, and they're waiting to get them. So they're just starting this week.
Oh, that's
so,
great.
Yeah, so there's plenty of time.
Well, you
These
can do
videos
that.
will always be up every Wednesday to go back and
That's
look
right.
at them at your
That's
time.
right.
So it's at your pace.
All right,
So.
so it's exactly 1:00, and
So
we
we gotta
have to
check out.
check out.
Yes.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, all right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you.